All right, so in the last video, y'all, we did a little fabrication work. We welded the O2 sensor on my downpipe, and we welded this core support on right there. Painted it up, sanded it up, looking real nice. But I done a little work off camera, you know how I am. Put the grill on, put the corner lights on. I even cut the fenders a little bit. That's for the later video. So anyways, we got some new parts. We got some new parts on the agenda. Right here, we have a new to me, it's not new, S13 240SX radiator to replace my old little half-inch thick, dinky little old one. There's nothing wrong with it, but we just sometimes you gotta toss a little money at the car. I got it for a good deal, so might as well. And then we also got the intercooler that we're going to be pairing with the turbo setup on this truck. So now we gotta get this to fit. It's a little shorter and narrower than my factory one, so I gotta kind of play with the mounts. And I also want to use the stock clutch fan and the fan shroud, so we're gonna kind of have to work with that too. But I guess right now let's just dive right in and let's get these mounts for this thing made, because I already got a little plan in my mind. So y'all are gonna see that. Also, say hi, Lily.
Hi, Lily.
We got her on the camera today, y'all, so we're feeling blessed. So anyways, let's get into this, and y'all about to see me make these mounts. Alright, so what you just saw me make was these mounts right here, or like makeshift mounts. The idea that I have is that this hole right here is gonna slip through that. Gonna slip through that and stop right there, so it'll elevate the radiator to where I need it to be, and it'll also keep it in place because it fits just like how it should. But anyways, we're gonna mock up the radiator and pretty much have these like here or here. And that's what's going to hold the radiator on the bottom of the radiator support. Alright, so now I just got those pieces welded in. Maybe not the most straight of pieces, but we got clearance on all sides. It holds them in there pretty nice. And up top, if you look at the top, you'll notice that we have kind of an even amount of room from top to bottom with the radiators. So now comes the task of working on the top mounts right here. These are the S13 ones, and if you come over here to the hardbody ones, it's like a bushing and it bolts through there, so it's a different style, and it's also facing up rather than laying down. So I might try to reutilize those bushings on the Nissan hardbody radiator, but for that I'm probably just going to take like some flat steel and bring it over here and then find some way to bolt it down so this is still removable, because at the end of the day, serviceability is probably the most important thing when you're fabricating stuff. But after we do that, we can start working on the fan shroud and wrapping this project up. Alright, so this is what I came up with for the upper radiator mount. It's got the factory Nissan bushing in there, which fit really well. I just had to drill a 1/2-inch hole, and the bushing fits really nicely on this little nub, so that works out. It's a little tiny bit loose, but you can barely tell, and it also doesn't come up to the top, but it's going to hold it in place. And the idea with this is that it's just a flat bar that holds it, and there's going to be a nut and bolt that go through here to secure it to the radiator support. So this isn't the final version. I'm gonna like round the corners and stuff and make it look nicer. It's also like a little off center, you can kind of see that right there, but not the end of the world. It's gonna hold it. So I guess let's just get another one of these made. Oh, there's supposed to be another one there.
It's right there.
Oh, nice. So now that we got these made, I'll clean them up. I'll make them look pretty off camera because it's just a bunch of boring stuff. But now we got to work on getting our intercooler mounted somewhere around this general vicinity right here. So let's go ahead and start doing that. Alright, so as you can see, obviously we welded in the bottom mounts for the intercooler. Just two little tabs pretty much welded to the lower radiator support. I had to cut this to clearance it just to get it tucked back as far as I want it to be, because I really like it to be as back as far as possible. But anyways, now we just have to make the upper mounts. We're probably going to wait to do that because I'm starving. So we'll get out here and do that at a later point in time. But yeah, so far so good. It's a little wobbly, but I can tell that once I get those top mounts in, it's going to be really nice and sturdy. So I'm happy with it. Are you happy with it, dear?
Yeah.
Cool. So anyways, we'll catch y'all in the next scene. Alright, so it's a new day. We got fresh mindset, fresh steel, and some fresh hardware somewhere. I don't know where it is. I'll have to find it. But now we have to work on mounting the upper portion of the the intercooler. Sorry. Keep getting this confused with the radiator, but I have an idea of how I want to do it, but I'm not 100% sure yet, so I'm just going to kind of play around with it. I have some little box tubing that I'm going to use, so yeah, but we're going to mount this up, and then we might just start working on, I don't know, getting that fan shroud to work maybe. I did go ahead and mark where I would need to cut for the little neck pieces to clear it. But yeah, we'll just try it. We'll kind of mess around, see what we can do. And yeah, we're definitely going to need to modify it, but that's just the name of the game. So now let's just focus on getting this mounted at the top. I had a whole sequence planned out for me, you know, making these parts and welding them, but for some reason my clumsy self kept touching the screen on my GoPro and putting it into photo mode, so every time I go to take a video or to start the video, it would take a picture instead. So anyways, maybe I'll throw in some of those pictures. I have no idea because they don't really show much of anything, but right now we have just kind of finished mocking up the upper support. It's got just a bar across. It's going to be welded on either side, and we have these tabs made. They have the little bolts, the newer hardware that I got. No, I think it might be the wrong size. I believe these are probably standard, and I got metric ones, and they fit like just loosely, so I don't know, they tighten up nice, so it's whatever. But got these tacked in, and I predicted right because this is so much sturdier with this top mount on, so that's promising. Now I'm going to try to work on maybe making a little bracket for this, because I could just like butt it up against there, but I want to say that it moves the hood latch a good bit, which it kind of, I don't know, it kind of also sort of doesn't. I'm kind of like indifferent about it, but this is removable, this whole piece right here, so I figure maybe it would be best to make it still removable, and I can like, maybe I can just like drill through here and then put a bolt on the other side, or just put like a self-tapper through it or something. I mean, you guys, you gotta give me some slack, man. I'm not like a race car builder or anything, so self-tappers are sometimes the way to go. Now I guess I'll just finish welding these two tabs right here and around here, and then on the bottom, which y'all saw me build the other day. But yeah, we'll just kind of keep pushing along, keep trotting along, and kind of see where we get. Alright, now with that we have our upper lower intercooler mounts, and we have our lower radiator mounts, and of course our top upper radiator mounts I still have to kind of mess with, drill some holes and put some hardware in there, but we're pretty much burned in place now. So with that being said, we're done with the intercooler mounting. We do have to still do the intercooler piping. I've ordered some like different couplers and stuff that I need to even start mocking that up. I'm happy with all these mounts. They're sturdy, they're holding on real nice. This I still have to kind of work out. I'll figure out something with that, but lowers nice and solid in place. I got those kind of welded up. Don't mind my cruddy welding job on these. There's a lot of gaps and stuff that I had to kind of mess with, but take a look at those bad boys. Ooh wee, looking nice. So anyways, now for the rest of that, we pretty much just have to try to get the fan shroud to fit, and I've kind of come to the realization that like this fan shroud would be nice to run since I have it, and it's also got like this kind of like three-dimensional type of feel to it. But at the end of the day, if I have to just take a piece of sheet metal and bolt it to the front of it with a hole in it, then I will, because any shroud is better than no shroud. But yeah, so we're gonna probably tidy all this stuff back up and then get to trying to fit that fan shroud. Oh, dude, that's worse than it looks. Believe it or not, y'all, that works actually pretty well. So after meticulously pulling this thing apart and putting it back together probably like 50 times, I got the fan shroud to somewhat work. I'm thinking it'll probably be a better idea. If this thing was out right now, you'd be able to see how like torn up it is. I think it would just be a better idea to like make my own fan shroud, which would just be like a sheet of metal and like maybe a little like piece that goes around it to direct some air in. But other than that, I'm thinking that might be the direction I'll go. I don't know, but we'll see. I'm sure I could probably run it for a little bit at least without any fan shroud, so I'm not super worried about that. But if I start to notice like a bunch of overheating issues when I do start driving this thing, then I'll definitely invest in making a fan shroud, because this really ain't the best, most ideal setup, having this kind of torn up plastic piece in there, and God forbid it gets like blown or pushed around and then the fan ends up eating it up and it ends up getting shoved into the radiator fins or something. I don't know. Anyways, that's probably what we're gonna do in the future, but that's just a future thing. I'm happy with what we've gotten done so far. Getting the radiator and the intercooler put in this video. This intercooler mount is like amazingly sturdy. Like, it shocks me, and I'm the one that made it. Very sturdy. I could probably pull the truck by this thing. Not that I would, because I definitely wouldn't, but it's very sturdy. And the radiator, I have the final brackets made. Probably gonna end up trimming them up, but I got a bolt and a bolt hole right there, and of course it like slips in and, you know, does its thing. Still probably gonna weld a nut underneath because I need to have a way to fasten it without holding the wrench under here, because the grill will be in place, but that's just part of the game, baby. Alright, so as I'm editing this video, I'm realizing that it's only like 14 minutes long. Usually my videos are like 18 minutes long, so I'd like to get a little more length out of it. I had a video planned before this one that I'm making, but I scrapped most of it because it was so jumpy, and I was also feeling sick. So I figured I'd show y'all the segment that I made on how to install a coolant temp sensor, or at least how I did on my truck. So I hope you guys enjoy watching that segment. I figured I'd just throw it in there just to add a little length to the video, and also just to use some of this footage instead of just scrapping it all. I'll still probably end up throwing some of the footage into a later video on making like the bumper brackets and stuff for the Toyota bumper, but anyways, I hope y'all enjoy this next segment that I'm going to play. Alright, this is a coolant temp sensor. It's a little 1/8 inch MPT, little threaded portion. And there's your little probe thing for the sensor. It's got a signal and a ground wire. And I need to find out a place under my hood to put this. A lot of people, what they'll do, Glow Shift will sell this fitting to where you slice your coolant hose down the middle and then you put it in there, and like you basically just section it, and it has like a little metal aluminum piece to where you can thread this in. And you know, that's great and all, but then it's like you create another potential leak point, two actually potential leak points. And honestly, in my opinion, it doesn't really look the greatest. It kind of makes it look a little weird. What better spot to put it than in this right here? Here's your factory temp sensor, so this is gonna be pretty accurate to where it is. But this is like the area that I could find with like the most amount of like meat, and it's on the water neck right before it goes into the hose. And if you look in there, you can't really see it that well, but if you look in there, there's like a little bit where the coolant, or like a coolant hose comes out of it. So we have to be careful drilling into that, because if we get something caught up down in there, then that ain't gonna be good. I have a it's 21/64 drill bit with a 1/8 MPT tap on it, so that will give us the perfect provision for this to thread in, and it will be in like a factory mounting location sort of, so that will be really good for it. So now I have a rag kind of put in there in a good spot to where I can still drill it, but it also covers that hole, so that hopefully at the end I can kind of grab the end bit right there with my finger and just slowly pull it out. I'm going to kind of aim for drilling the hole like right here-ish, kind of like towards the top, so it points more down. I was thinking about doing it in the side, but I figure right here would be better because the harness would come kind of more up, which is what I want it to do, is just kind of look clean, kind of factory OEM. So we're going to go ahead and drill and tap this hole now. One thing that also helps you to not get debris in whatever you're drilling is use some grease. If you put some grease on your drill bit, like this grease right here, like that, instead of chunking all the metal shavings off, it will actually stick to your drill bit. Just get a little grease on there and go ahead and start drilling. Now all we need to do is come in with the tap. So you're just going to take this and you're going to go very slow and careful and just stick that in there, start to thread it. The drill bit that they supply in the tap kit, this one is 21/64, is going to be the correct size for the 1/8 inch MPT tap. So just use the one that they provide you with. Usually it will provide you with one. If not, then you know, you kind of got to figure that out on your own. There's like little gauges and stuff like that out there that shows you. But I'm gonna get this tapped, and then I'm gonna get back with y'all whenever I'm done with that, because my camera's about to die. And just like that, our hole drilled, and you can see that it's tapped. This camera won't focus for nothing, so you can't really see it. But anyways, fitting where our sensor goes in. It takes a little coercing because it is like a hand tapped hole, so it's not perfect, but fitting goes in. And if there was some light, which I dropped, you'd be able to see sensors right there. So obviously I'm gonna put some thread tape on this and all that, but yeah, pretty much good to go. I'm gonna take this wire and ground it straight to here, because that's where it grounds to, and then this signal wire will probably run up through this little harness right here and back over there to the firewall. But yeah, that's pretty much how that's done. Now I can just put some thread tape on it, put the coolant line on, and then whenever I go to fill up my coolant, I have a freshly installed coolant temp sensor, which will be helpful because this thing is going to be running a little harder, so we'll see. We'll be able to more accurately see what our coolant temp is at. So yes. Oh my gosh, I'm like right up on the wheel.
Oh, whatever. You gotta remember.
The one where I turned 60,